Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. Hi, Maya.
Hi.
How are you?
I was joining you.
Oh, good. Welcome to TGP Live. This is our podcast-like gathering of the month. And welcome to our studio audience.
Hello.
Y'all look good. You look comfy.
Yes.
You look cozy. Some of you. It's a little bit cool outside.
It is. Minnesota does not want to pick what personality it wants to be.
It's like March was
spring.
holding on, and then April's been holding on, and so I don't know. We'll
We had a
see.
beautiful, perfect Minnesota day yesterday.
We did.
Sunny, beautiful breeze in the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
up to 80s, I think, actually. And then
Didn't
today
feel
it's
like
cloudy
that.
and 50 degrees, 60 degrees outside, but it's okay.
Yeah, but it's all right. You're here, and that's all that matters. But if you are new to the Gathering Place, we are a church based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and TGP Live is just one of the ways that we gather throughout the month. Every first Sunday, we come together and enjoy a meal, breaking bread, having discussion, building community, and then every second and fourth Sunday, we gather together for our grow homes. We have a little bit more intentional, small gathering, really kind of. And
Digging in the word, discussion.
Heavy in discussion for sure. Because if you've got a question, this is a space for everyone, everywhere to first gather, then for us to grow, and then go. So we are very intentional about making sure that there is an opportunity for you. If you have a question or you want in the moment real life application, we're going to do it before you leave from the gathering. Yeah, that's kind of our heart. So I love it. And we're so welcome. We're so welcome.
Yes.
You're so welcome to be here. And we have a couple of things coming up. It's May.
It is May. We're over halfway through May already.
Guys, Christmas is tomorrow.
We're not doing that. We are not doing that. We got a long ways till then. We are not speeding up my summer.
But why is May a special month for us, Maya?
May is a special month because we have 5 Sundays in May, which means we have Outreach Saturday.
Woo!
Yes. So when we have 5 Sundays in a month, on the last Saturday, which this month it is May 30th, we do an outreach to serve our community. And so we hope to, we'll have details out there for you soon on where we will be and who we will be serving, probably within the next week or so. So stay tuned for that.
We will let you know. We don't hope to let you know.
It's a habit.
You are included in the outreach. And then after May comes June, which is summer.
Official summer.
But not till like end of June, technically.
No. I am claiming it June 1st.
I think it's like the
summer,
21st is typically the day. Anywho, we are kicking off a summer series called The Advantage.
Yes.
I'm super excited.
Give me details. What's it going to be about?
First of all, let me tell you. What?
I don't know. Our pastor's laughing in the corner.
Give
me details.
Well, if you've been here since January, since the beginning of the year, our word for the year is Zoe. It means alive in Christ.
Yeah.
And it comes from John 10:10. Christ came so that we could have life and have it more abundantly. And so that's kind of our theme for this year, guiding us along. And so really the advantage is coming from that place. And we're going to be talking about how we as believers, when we navigate transitions, we don't navigate it the same way as people who don't have faith in Jesus Christ. We are going to navigate it from a place of victory. We are going to navigate it from a place of not ease, because life is not easier for us just because we're believers, but definitely we carry something. What's the verse that says the same spirit that raised Jesus from the dead is the same spirit that lives in you? Romans 8. Come on, our studio audience knows.
Yes.
Come on. And if you put it in the chat, you also know. So I believe in you. But our goal is really that by the end of August, it's a 3-month series all summer. By the end of August, everyone will kind of have this knowledge that they have this real tangible advantage as a Christ follower really not just for transitions, but to navigate anything that they experience in life. So let me break it down for you. In June, we are going to be talking about endings at the beginning, right? We're going to be talking about endings and how we navigate that together. What does it mean to grieve things when they end? What does it mean to honor things that are ending? And then when we transition,
I see what you did there.
When we transition, when we go into July, we are going to be talking about kind of that neutral space. What happens when we feel like maybe God has been a little silent? It could just be we're not listening. I didn't write the sermons, so I can't say what we're talking about.
You gotta come for the July series for those sermons.
But we are going to be talking about how we navigate when it seems like maybe we're not hearing from God, or maybe it feels like things have been a little distant, and it's
or if He has us in a waiting pattern, a holding pattern.
He might actually. That's very true. And August will kind of wrap up with like new beginnings, and what does that look like to step into something new? Not just stepping into it, but with that Zoe mentality, alive in Christ. So if you aren't sure what your summer plans are, make it a plan to join us at TGP. We will be here at Proximity Collective every Sunday, 12:30. You won't miss us. So make sure that you're here for that. And then I think the only other announcement I have is also beginning in June, in the summer.
June's gonna be a great month.
June is going to be an excellent month, and I'm going to pull up my note because I don't want to say the wrong time. But Bible study is coming back.
Yes.
We did one. Was it last fall or the fall before?
I think it was the fall before. Yeah.
And it was called Hidden, and it was a great Bible study. We went through Do the New You. I think that was the name of the. Do the New Thing. Do the New You.
Stephen Furtick book.
By Stephen Furtick.
Yep.
Yes. It's a blue book, so if you look it up online, a blue book with yellow letters. It was really good. So we went through it.
Do the New You.
It really was a good book.
Just do it.
So this upcoming June, we are kicking off Bible study again.
Yes.
But it's going to be called something different.
Okay.
We are calling it Gather and Grow.
Hey, I love that.
Now, if you've also been part of Brilliance Emerge before, you might remember Gather and Grow as more of a women's Bible study, but this Bible study is open for everybody.
And we want everybody present.
And we want everybody to be here. So they will be once a month starting on June 6th here at Proximity from 9:15 to 10:30, and our very own Pastor Angela will be leading us in those Bible studies. So
wonderful.
Yeah, mark your calendars. I know summer gets really busy for people, and if you are one that has a couple of empty spots, now's the time to fill those in with TGP stuff. So every TGP Live, we do a segment called In Not Of, and it is because we are in the world and not of it. So today, earlier, our production team, we're having a training together, and I'm not sure. I had this mic. I think we were doing like a sound check. You guys keep me honest. I don't know.
Yes.
And just the little kids' is it a nursery rhyme? It came to my head.
Yeah, you can call it a nursery rhyme.
Yeah, and it was like 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. 5, 6, pick up sticks. Now hold on. There's a discrepancy.
For 7 and 8.
7 and 8. Now, I said 7, 8, lay them straight.
I was like, what?
I saw out of my peripheral a head nod in this side of the room. So I'm not sure if that's correct. But Maya tried to correct me.
I did.
And what did you say it was?
I said, shut the gate, because I left. We've done all this work to be outside, and then I left and I shut the gate. And Liz was like, no, that is not it.
Because I feel like we walk through the entire activity. First you picked up your shoe. Then you shut the door.
Yep.
You picked up the sticks, but then how would you go from picking up the sticks to just closing the gate?
What do you mean? You have the sticks, you walk, you shut the gate.
Yes. What the question in the audience was, what happens to the sticks?
Does it matter?
I think it does.
It doesn't matter.
With kids, it does. You got to give them the next step. You can't just be like, pick up the sticks.
We were very different children.
So I do believe that 7, 8
I was
lay
one
them
of those
straight.
like butterfly moments. So I would have saw the sticks. I would have picked them up. I probably would have put them back down and then kept going.
No, that's why you would have shut the gate, because you would have had a butterfly moment and you probably just ran after them with the sticks in your hand, forgetting what you were supposed to do with the sticks.
Yes.
And I would have laid them straight. And then I would have 9, 10 do it again.
We can both be right in our own ways. It is. It is a duck, duck, deuce, duck, duck, gray duck moment. I don't know which one of you.
What do you play? Duck, duck, deuce or duck, duck, gray duck?
We were gray duck. Duck, duck, gray duck. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I do think that's a Minnesota thing, though.
The judgment in your face.
No. I'm not judging, because I always play duck, duck, gray duck. But I think it's a Minnesota thing.
It could be. I get why people would say goose, because it's something completely different. But if you're like, ooh, which one's which? You want them a little camouflage, so we should all be ducks, and then the last one's a different kind of duck. But that's okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Also, do you have any plans for Memorial Day?
I do. I'm super excited. I will be taking my first camping trip of the season.
Whoop, whoop.
Yay!
Whoop, whoop.
It'll be good. I'm going to do Saturday to Tuesday, so I don't have to have the entire state of Minnesota at the campground over the weekend. But it'll be nice. It'll be peaceful. It'll be quiet. Checking out a new state park on the southwestern side of the state. Have my dog with me. It'll be wonderful. What about you?
I will actually be in that same
because I recruit
park.
People.
So interesting, yeah. I will be in a tent.
There might be 3 of us in this room that are going.
There is another person in this room that is also going to be there.
Yes.
But if you like camping, you should join us.
Yes.
Maybe not for Memorial Day, because I'm sure you already have plans for Memorial Day. What's your favorite thing about holidays that fall on a Monday?
Ooh, that's a good one. Being able to take either the Friday or the Tuesday before or after off, so I can have an extra extended weekend. Because Mondays are, anyway. Like, you get this, what is the phrase, the Sunday night scaries or something like that happens. You never heard of that term? Where people get anxiety on Sundays, thinking about having to go to work or do their thing on Monday. There's a term for it. So having the Monday holiday is nice, because then, you probably just procrastinate and end up having it on Monday night anyway, but it's better to have the day off.
This is fair. Yeah, I don't think I have a favorite thing about holidays on Mondays.
It's another day.
It's another day. I am not using PTO for it.
Because it's a holiday. You should get holiday pay.
Well, but not everybody has a job where they get
fair.
the regular, holidays off. And I didn't for a long time. So maybe that's why it's
Bless you for that. I am so sorry.
It was fine.
We appreciate those that have to work on the holidays. Thank you so much for your service.
Yeah. So, I'm looking forward to a weekend off, quiet. I don't know. Do people do fireworks on Memorial Day?
I don't think that's one of the holidays that they do fireworks.
Do they?
For. Really?
Some people.
Oh.
You hear them in the neighborhood.
People will use any reason to be doing some fireworks. That's fair.
Matter of fact, we're going to have fireworks at the end of this, so I'm just kidding.
I was like, wait, what? Maybe some sound effects. I don't know if our pro presenter folks can put those animations in the mix, but we do have a great lineup for today's TGP Live. So we're excited for you all to hear who our special guest is going to be. If you follow us on Instagram, you already know who it's going to be. But yeah, we are about to go into that session. So prepare your hearts and your minds. Grab that coffee, tea, your notebook, because you're going to want to take notes for this one. And we will see you soon.
Hello, TGP fam, and to everyone joining us for the first time, welcome to The Gathering Place. My name is Lawrence. I have the pleasure, the honor of being the leader of The Gathering Place, but I don't lead by myself. I'm excited that there are several of us that get to lead this mission where we make space for everyone, everywhere to gather, grow, and go. And so no matter where you are right now, you could be driving down the street, you could be at home, you could be in bed about to take your Sunday nap. Thank you for being a part as we make space for you for this conversation. We've got people online. Do me a favor, wherever you are, whether you're watching live right now or watching the replay, let us know where you're watching from. Are you from Texas? Are you from Minneapolis? Are you from St. Paul? Are you from Houston? Are you from, I don't know why I'm using all these Texas cities. Are you from the East Coast, the West Coast? Just let us know. We love to know how far we're reaching and where we're sending this message to. So thank you so much for being a part. And we invite you, like Liz and Maya said, to be active. Be active in the chats. Be active in the comments. Let us know. Respond. Talk back to us. I know we can't hear you, but we can definitely see your comments on this end. And so I'm excited because I get to have this conversation today with Faith Brandon, who's not only one of the leaders here at the Gathering Place, but she is also my sister. Yes, and so I will not do a long introduction, but I will do a short, abbreviated introduction that I did not prepare. So I'm gonna just go off the top of my head real quick. No AI, no Claude, no chat. But Faith is a leader, both in the natural and in the spiritual realm. God has gifted her immensely. She is what you would call a corporate executive, has been a corporate executive for quite some time now. Her field of expertise is in human resources and what I would call people relations. That's probably not a term, but she helps people navigate their career. She helps them navigate their interpersonal skills that they have while they're at work. Also, she helps develop people currently in their current roles for her day job. Outside of work, she is pursuing her doctorate at Jakes Divinity, and she graduates next year in 2027. And so we'll get a chance to hear more about that from her. And then also she leads Brilliance Emerge, which is a women's ministry for the past, I'd say 10 years maybe, or longer. I don't know the math. She can let us know that. But she is a force. She is a leader. She is a prophet in her own right. And she is definitely one of those people who just really cares about people. And so I'm excited to introduce to everyone my sister, Faith Brandon. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
Yes. Thank you for joining us on TGP Live.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't know, but Faith is going on vacation very soon, and we will not see her for quite some time. So I figured, you know what? Let's get her to be a part while we have her. So thank you for being here. Are you excited about your vacation?
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I am going to an island, and I'm going by myself.
Ooh.
And so I have told people if I don't get out the bed the first or 2 days, it's okay.
That is okay.
Because I'm going to just do, room service and call it a day.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a heavy semester of school and everything else. So I just need to reset and, as the word I use, recalibrate.
Recalibrate. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Tis the season.
Tis the season.
To recalibrate.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for being here with us, and thank you for taking time even amidst your busy schedule. Not like you wouldn't be here anyways, but glad that you're
That's
here.
real.
Thank you for saying yes.
That's real.
But since we're here for a good time and not a long time, I'll hop into the questions that I have for you. And before we get into everything, can you just, I know I gave my synopsis of who you are, but can you give the people a sense of who you are, not just your title or what you do, but who you are as a person?
I say I am the person who has been a leader in our family, one who had to take on responsibilities quite early than thought I would have to. But I'm also a person, my brother says I care a lot. I've recently been told that by somebody else, that I believe in pulling and pushing people to their necks. I believe that people have the potential to be more than what they even think they can be if they just put their minds to it. My dad did that to us. He believed in us more than anybody. And I would say my mom did too. But dad was like, he was like, oh, you got a B, you can get an A. He was that dad. Mm-hmm. So I also believe I'm that person, the family-oriented person, as stated. People don't know I'm actually quiet at home. I am actually a person who has introverted tech. I can be introverted, but I know how to put it on. And so I can be extroverted when I need to be. I'm very much a thinker. I think a lot about different things. I am one who is pulling things apart, thinking about how we can fix this, problem solver. So I'm always that kind of person, but if you need me, I'll come. If I'm not coming, there's a good reason. But I'm just the person that you depend on.
Yeah. Glad that you're that person. I know there's certainly a lot of people who are grateful for you showing up the way that you have for them. Me being one of them. Now you started. Now correct my knowledge and history. We launched Journey Community Church in 2016. Did you start Girl Talk before or after?
We started after because it was a part of the church ministry.
Correct.
And that's so right. I did see it. I would almost say we hit it around 2017, 18. Because we started strategizing, because we had quite a few women in the ministry.
Correct.
And we needed something for the women. So,
right.
And I had attended a women's conference here in Minnesota, and it bothered me because there were no women of color on the platform. And I said, that's not how heaven's going to be. And even looking around the room, I was probably one of 8 women who were there of color. And I said, yeah, this isn't heaven. And, some of it comes from the fact we have a mother who drove diversity. And so I drive diversity. We grew up in a diverse church. And even me attending Oral Roberts University, diversity stays with me. And so that's where I was like, we can do this. But the other thing that was on my heart is we have next generation of women coming. And they weren't into church, and they weren't going to conferences, and it bothered me. And I was like, we need to create something that will be something that they will engage in, and they will want to be a part of, and want to know God in another way. And so I said, okay. I looked at the conference I was at. I was like, this can be done. And so I brought the women together, and we had a strategy meeting. And I said, okay, we're going to create 3 lanes. We're going to have a conference. I know we don't have enough people, but we're going to have a conference. And then I said, we're going to have a quarterly, and we're going to make this work. And then I had one other lane for us. And I said, we're going to grow into this, but somehow we're going to make this work. And so that's what we started working towards and making happen. And so our first event we had was actually over in South Minneapolis. An Asian restaurant loaned us the restaurant that morning. We had a women's breakfast. Pastor Nicole Bullock was our speaker, and there was over 60 women who showed up in that room. We did not have enough room. It was packed out, yeah. It was packed out. And I was like, oh my God, what have we just done? So, and it was a little restaurant, but it was amazing to see for our women that we didn't have that many women, but all these women showed up because they had a love for God. And it was multi-generational. And Pastor Nicole preached her she preached her hiney off that day. But that was so amazing. I said, okay, God, this is possible. We can do this. And so we started what was then called Girl Talk.
Girl Talk, yeah.
I took it off of Bishop Jakes. I'll be honest. I didn't have any creativity enough to say any more, but I was like, this sounds good.
Yeah, I think it was just I think I gave you the idea for Girl Talk
You probably did.
that I took from TD
You're
Jakes.
You're the creative side.
But it was never a conference that he did. It was just like a segment that he called
segment, and
Girl Talk. And so
yeah.
I was like, oh, let's just take it.
Yeah, and we called the ministry
No
that.
sense in reinventing the wheel. And then at some point, you transitioned from Girl Talk to Brilliance Emerge. And that was more than a rebrand. It felt more like a statement. What was shifting in you when you made that transition from Girl Talk to Brilliance Emerge? Tell us what happened.
I think I know what was going on. I was looking at the fact we had been doing Girl Talk. We've been doing the conference a couple years. We had been doing the quarterlies. But I still didn't think we were making the impact that needed to happen. And I didn't see, and I was concerned because I have a concern for this. I didn't see our millennials coming. I didn't see our Gen Zs. And I said, we've got another generation. How are we going to get them to come? So, and people can say, well, Faith, why did you think this way? I'm going to tell you, even when growing up, and I left to go to college. Lawrence was in the 6th grade, and there was a situation that happened in our family. And I remember talking to my dad, and I told my dad, I said, it wasn't about you. That's pretty bold to tell a parent. And I told him, I said, we have to think about Lawrence because he's the next generation. And what do we need to do? And so I've always had this mindset that you need to be thinking about the next generations. Because at the end of the day, and I was very honest with my dad, I said, you and Mom were going to be saved. We need to make sure that Lawrence stays with God, that he fulfills his call, and we need to make that happen. And so when I looked at the generations, I was concerned because I'm a Gen Xer. The baby boomers, they're going to be saved. But how are you going to pull the next generations in to be a part of what God is doing? And that they would know that God is real and that the relationship with him is important. And so as I was looking at what we were doing for Girl Talk, I felt like we were making impact, but not enough. And it was during COVID. And so it was right before COVID. And we were supposed to be having the conference. My company had I call it a rotation. They had rotated me to North Carolina. And so I'm on Zoom calls with the team, and we're strategizing, what does this look like? What do we think the Lord is saying? And so we began to strategize and hear from God. And then the Lord began to speak to me. He said, you're going to call this Brilliance. And I said, oh, okay. And I was like, we're going to change this name. Who does that? I don't know, but we're going to do that. And so as the Lord began to speak, things began to evolve. And the next thing I know, we're getting ready to have this conference. And I don't know if you remember, I came home to have the conference in March of 2020. Things were starting to break out around the world. Because of where I work, I knew, because we were flying planes to Asia, but we didn't know how bad it was just yet. And then the next thing you know, that weekend we were going to have the conference, the governor is debating on whether to close churches and everything else. And in the midst of that, we were trying to figure out, how do we sit the people? How do we do all the things?
Could you still have the conference?
Could we still have the conference? People were like, I don't know if I'm coming. And this was actually one of our highest numbers for the conference because we've been building this momentum. I had changed up some things to make it work, to entice, but to engage. And we had actually began to really pull in that number we were looking for from the millennials and the Gen Z. So we were on our way of a momentum. And truly, it felt like we were supposed to close. But I had one pastor in the city call me, and she said, listen here, young lady. She's an older woman. She said, I'm coming. I'm going to still have my session for you. If these people don't come, it's okay. We're still moving forward. And sometimes you need somebody to just put their hand in your back and say, no. It's going to be okay. We're going to figure this out. And it still happened. Our numbers were still high. The team felt like they could have been even higher had that not been coming. But in the midst of that conference, the Lord spoke too. And in one of our speakers, she ended up just speaking a word to me, and she said, you know this is going to go global. And I said, oh, that's a lot. I said, I'm doing what I do. That's a lot. Okay, let me just hold on to that and let that marinate, because we're about to go into COVID and the governor's about to close down, and I don't know what that looks like. And so I just held it for some years and we started doing things to kind of figure out how that would look, but we were just in that moment. And so from there, that's when the name change began to emerge too.
To Brilliance Emerge.
Brilliance Emerge.
Brilliance Emerge.
And I have to give credit to Marseille, because
Marseille Broadway.
I came with the word brilliance, and then she came with the word emerge, and she said, Faith, I think this is what it is. People don't know that's one of my thought partners behind the scenes. And so she's creative like my brother. So I'll be like, what do you think? And she's a strong strategist. So I'm like, what do you think? And so she's like, I think we should go with this, because here's how we can do it, and all the things she goes into.
Yeah. So you went from Girl Talk to Brilliance Emerge.
Girl Talk to Brilliance Emerge.
And the way I always thought about it was women are emerging brilliantly.
Yeah. And they have been.
They have been. Emerging into their brilliance.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Beyond
was
our ever thought process. That was 20. Yeah.
Yeah, it was at Sanctuary Covenant Church, one of our longtime ministry partners.
It's also the time that I got back on the platform and started preaching again.
Yeah,
after Mom had passed.
Back. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's something
with the pushing of my brother.
Oh yeah, love to push. I think your message was about going through the door, something to that effect.
Yep.
There was a door on the stage.
You and our wonderful cousin Newman built the door the night before.
Built a door. Would never do that again. That was a.
But the Holy Spirit was there so strong.
People start going through the door.
They start going through the door. Their lives are changed.
What a time. So you talked about that someone had told you that it was supposed to go global. Can you tell me what were you thinking at that time when you heard that? Because I think oftentimes we can have thoughts, or people can come and say something to us about something that we're doing, or even cast vision for us that we don't even see ourselves yet. Mm-hmm. What was that thought process that you went through when you heard those words that it was going to be global?
Well, and let me be transparent. We grew up in a prophetic ministry. And so sometimes when you grow up in a prophetic ministry, you're used to prophecies all the time and people speaking words. And so I tend to be a person who will say, let me just check with the Lord. Because I have also noticed sometimes people will feel the energy of me and they feel like they have a word for me. And so I'm always a person who will just think it through and say, let me just check with God. Is this the Lord? Because I can understand that, and I'm sure you're feeling some things, but I'm careful. And having grown up in that kind of ministry, I just am careful, right? I'm careful what I say to people. And so hearing that, it's not that I didn't know. God just brings confirmation. And I know you weren't there, but when I had my purity down in Tulsa, 3 prophets prophesied over me. And one of them was our pastor, and then 2 other prophets of the house. And I've known since my early 20s that God had called me to lead a women's ministry. I knew how the prophecies came about, that God was so in the room. Our grandmother fell out in the spirit. I think I did too. Mom she stayed standing because they were on stage with me. And you knew that God was speaking what was to come. And I've always had that. I've always had where there's been spoken word when it's on, that the Lord is already speaking what is to come. And I may not see it in the moment, but God is going to answer prayer. And so for me to hear that, here it's now 2020, I'm like, oh, it's time. Okay, we're getting there. You've been having me getting trained and getting ready. And so it wasn't that I didn't believe the person. I just didn't know how was he going to do it and how was it going to happen. And so even when you had moved into a church where you were lead worship, they had all the things, and we tried out we had the system. Well, what was it? We put it on Facebook Live or something. And so we tried to go.
We streamed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We streamed it. And we didn't have that many people, but we structured in a way like we did. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the Lord does that with me. He's like, you're going to structure as to your future what you're going to do.
Right.
And you may not have a lot of people. And people look and see how I even structured the team. They're like, you structure according to where you're going. Yeah, because you got to be ready. I just believe in that. And so I think that's where I knew. I said, okay, we're going to just kind of keep tapping on this and see what happens. And so here we are. And it started to go that direction. But I think I will tell you, around 2020, when the Lord speak, about 2024, almost going to 2025, he said, this is the last time in Minnesota. And I said, well, what does that mean, God? And God speaks to me in pieces some days, and I'm like, Jesus. And so I only told my cousin, because she won't think I'm crazy, that God has spoken this way. And I told her, I said, we got to start finding a place outside of Minnesota. Let's keep it amongst ourselves until we figure out what we're doing. And she said, okay.
Because did it make sense to you then?
It made sense, but I didn't know how we were going to do it. Mm-hmm. Who knows Faith Brandon? I'm here in Minnesota. I work for my company. I'm here in the city. Yeah, I've got friends outside of the state, but how do you go national? I mean, think about it. We grew up going to Azusa. We grew up going to Woman Thou Art Loose.
To conferences. Mm-hmm.
We were like,
conferences.
Bishop Jakes, we seen it all. Yeah. How did he get national like that? He hit the platform at Azusa, preached a message that took him everywhere. I'm like, well, how do you do that today?
Right.
How do you engage people to know that trust you to come to a conference you're going to put on?
In their city.
In their
that
city.
you've never been in before.
Or even fly in from another state to attend.
Right. So you had you heard a prompting from the Lord that this would be the last time in Minnesota. You had just done a retreat.
Yeah.
A Brilliance. But I don't know why I can't say Brilliance.
I don't know.
Brilliance. I don't know. Brilliance retreat. And it was quite, that was your second time doing a retreat.
Yep.
Surprised
in doing that.
I don't want to pass over the iterations or the forms in which you have held women's events. Mm-hmm. You started at a restaurant. You then transitioned into
a Lutheran church.
A Lutheran church.
That I had to write what we were doing, why we were doing it.
North Heights Lutheran Church. Really
They
sweet
gave
people.
me like 6 rooms.
Yeah. Great facility.
Great
people. You've been at Sanctuary Covenant.
Brought it into the
times.
city. Yeah.
Then you decided you wanted to have an experience. So you made the retreat.
So people
could go not hang gliding. But they could rope what is it? Zip lining. How old am I? Zip lining. They could go out on the water if they wanted to. They went on hikes. All of those different things. They got to spend time with Jesus, spend time in community with friends and make new friends. And over the years, I just want to commend you on you always talk about how I'm more of a visionary to try something new, but I want to highlight that you've been bold and courageous in doing new things that you haven't perhaps experienced, but then making sure that people more broader than you could experience those things in a new way, and still love Jesus, and still experience Jesus, and still experience ministry, and still have a hallelujah, still fall out under the Spirit if they wanted to. But I think you've always, through all of your iterations, you've always shown that it's not just this Hanama Kundama speaking in tongues, but that Jesus is in every aspect of our lives. And so I just want to highlight that for you in case you forgot that you have done all of those things and forged a way in those ways. But you went from that, having a retreat, to you decided to take Brilliance Emerge to Dallas, Texas. 16, maybe 18-hour drive from Minnesota to Dallas. And that was this year for the first time ever. You took Brilliance Emerge out of Minnesota. It was a 3-day conference in a whole new city. But what I want people to understand is, and you kind of already talked about it, but can you take us a little deeper into the how? Because you knew God said go, but you didn't know or have the full picture of what that was going to look like. Can you walk us through that? You said you talked to Tia. You didn't say her name, but, well, Tia,
She's
your
our
cousin.
She's our cousin.
And you were like, you asked her to partner with you not only in thought, but in prayer of what does that look like? Can you talk us through that?
So, truly, I said, Tia, I need you to start looking for where we can go. And so Dallas really was not top of my list. So we started on the East Coast, and she was looking. We were trying to, things we thought about is, can people fly in? Do we want a retreat center? Do we want a hotel? Hotel actually came later. We were actually looking at retreat centers. Then we were trying to figure out, okay, if it's at a hotel, how much does this cost? And so then we got to the Austin, and she said, okay, Faith, I think we could do Austin, but let me look in Dallas. She said, will you just let me look in Dallas? I said, okay. And she knew I didn't want it to seem a certain way, and so she understood that. And so she said, okay, I'm going to look in Dallas because we can get people flown in. Let me find a hotel. And the very first hotel she called, and because she looked at the hotels in Dallas, and she said, I think this is the one, and we're going to call. And at first, we only got one room. And we were like, okay, this is a great price. Here we go. And while she was doing that, and I want to help people understand, God moves simultaneously on things. So while that was happening, Lawrence had a conversation with a person we know named Lola. And those two felt like I needed to step out into helping people more. And so they had a conversation, and it's deeper than that. And so then Lola calls me around the same time. And she said, Faith, I don't know what it is about you, but I feel like God wants to do more, and it's more than Minnesota. And I said, well, crazy enough, Lola, my cousin's been looking for a hotel, and we're going to take this conference outside of Minnesota. Now, I don't know how this is going to work, but I know God wants to do something. And she said, okay, so let's start talking. She said, I don't know what it is. Let's start strategizing and just thinking, how do we merge what you have in you, what you offer out from people from an HR executive coach perspective, but then how do we merge that with what's happening with your brilliance? And she said, I don't know all the things. And what people don't know, Lola was pivotal when I first started Brilliance, Girl Talk. I didn't know what I was doing then, but she was such a great event planner she sent me samples of things that I could utilize to help me structure. So Lola's been along, ain't that like God? Lola's been with me since Girl Talk and gave me the coaching and things I needed to do for event planning because that's her thing. And, you know, we really hadn't talked much since she got helped me in the beginning in the sense of having to talk about it. But then it's a curious thing how God will circle that person back around who's built all these things and did all these other things. And she's like, well, let's do a virtual event. And I was like, what, a virtual event? And she said, yeah. And then you have to know Lola, she just starts spilling. And it's like the Lord just starts downloading to her and her mind just starts spinning and she's just giving you strategy. And you're like, okay. And so she said, well, send me some pictures so my team can start playing with them. I said, okay. And so you've got Tia who's doing negotiations on a hotel. You've got Lola talking to me, and we're starting to create this marketing plan. And in the midst of it, I'm in school, I'm working full time, and a plan is formulating that I don't even understand. But I just trust God. And I'm like, I don't know what this is going to turn into. And so we have the retreat in 25, and I want to bring us back to that because then the Lord brings in one of the pastors who's a prophet. She didn't prophesy to anybody else but the team. And it was like the Lord was just highlighting and saying, it's time, and this is all great, but this is about to move. So you have 3 different things happening at the same time, simultaneously, and you're just like, okay, God. And even I'm looking like, what is about to happen here? I really didn't know. Yeah. And I move with the Lord like that, and I guess he trusts me because I'll just go with him. You know, I'm like, where are we going with this? And it's funny, throughout the year, Pastor Evelyn continued to send me encouragement and say, you're on the right path, honey. I don't know what's going on. And we hadn't even sent an invite for her to come, but she would send me encouragement, and there would be a text that would come. And then in the midst of that, I have these 3 older women who they have in many ways impacted and been a part of somehow this path I've been on. And they individually, okay, keep going. No matter what, keep going. And I'm like, really? And so strategizing with Lola can be great. I'm very structured. She's very entrepreneurish. Sometimes, you know, it's just a drop of a hat. And I'm like, ooh, what are we doing? I need a plan. And she'd be like, Faith, we're just going to go with it. And I'm like, ooh, my life doesn't move like that. I got things. I got to be structured. And she and I talked about that. But as she and I began to work on things, and I brought in like one of my cohort people because I knew her background and I knew she knew what Lola was doing with me. She said, and she talked to me and she said, this is going big and I need you to focus. So I had these hard conversations of people having like, we need you to focus and make sure you're doing the right things here because this is going somewhere. And as it began to evolve, the Lord started creating something. And who would have known that 300,000 plus Black women would have lost their job last year? And I started getting calls. And there's that HR coming out in me. And so then Lola said, this is what it is, Faith. We're about to platform you because you are the one they need. I said, what? And so she said, no. She said, I've been called in spaces of corporate that I can't really meet their need, but I think you can. And so we began to create what was called virtual events. And she and I just began to strategize, what would this look like? How would we make this work? And she said, okay, what we're going to do, because you got to get them to the conference, we're going to start saying, we're going to build this up to get people to the conference. I would never have thought of that's how you get yourself out there to be known nationally, to platform in that way. On these virtual events, people all over the country, outside of the country started being on there. It it was really mind-blowing, to be honest. I didn't expect it at all. And one of my cohort people just recently told me, she said, I watched you. She said, you're anointed and you almost get on a person's nerves because you are just hitting them. Like, what? Let's go. And I said, okay, ma'am. And it's an older woman. I said, okay, I'll take that. But that same woman called me a week ago and said, the Lord told me to call you because you know how to help me get to my next of what I'm about to do. And she said, how do I help you?
Wow.
At 7 a.m.
Early
in the morning. And she's 65.
Yeah. So I think you've shown us what obedience looks like when you don't have the full picture. And how you said it yourself, how you believe that God just trusts you because you know that no matter what, you'll follow him.
I will.
And I think for those of you watching, that's something to consider as I'm sitting here. It's one of the things that I'll just be very honest about. It's one of the things I struggle with. I talked about it at Collide Conference I struggle with this thing of knowing before I go. You got to show me the full picture before I go. And that's just really not what faith is. It's the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And so God often requires us to trust him before we can see the full picture. Can you talk about, well, before I ask you my next question, it's amazing how God brought all the pieces together.
Isn't it?
How that when he gives you a plan, you do your part and he does the rest.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds simple, but that's really what you just have to trust God in. Okay, I'm going to do what I know to do. And as you do what you know to do, God will literally do the other things. So he brings in the people who have their spheres of influence that they operate in. To how do you go to another city, put on an event, and nobody knows your name? Somebody comes to you with the strategy so that people can know your name, not for the sake of knowing your name, but literally for the sake of them getting in the room to receive what God has given you to give them. A quick highlight, too, is that Brilliance Emerge, my God. Brilliance Emerge is in Dallas. During the day, there were these working sessions that people literally sat at tables. They had their notebooks out. They had their computers out. They were taking notes. They were getting information. They were getting strategy. They were getting resources. And then in the evening was more of your spiritual resourcing, if you will, encouragement, that nudge, that push. And then incorporated in there was always, for sure, always was God, but then there was this worship element. You started the day off with worship. You ended the day with worship. And I think there's testimonies of people who were at, what's super cool is that there's people who came to Brilliance Emerge in Dallas who did not know you.
Correct.
Also, there's testimonies of people who came that needed jobs, did not have jobs, did not know what their next looked like. And then within, a matter of weeks after Brilliance Emerged, that doors opened. They were able to put into practice some of the tools that they gained at the conference that opened doors for them to go into boldly, not timidly. So just want to, because we're on a time crunch, I just wanted to highlight and honor God for what he did through your obedience. And I think oftentimes we don't always see what's on the other side of our yes.
Yeah.
What's on the other side of our obedience.
Yeah.
We just see, how am I going to do it? And if we're honest, God, I don't want to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Because we don't often talk about, can you, like Jesus said, let this cup pass from me.
Mm-hmm.
Let somebody else do this. Pick another person. Why me? We don't often see, I don't think we ever see the end from beginning. Only God does. But there's so many people who God impacted because you were obedient in saying yes. Even until this day, we're still hearing stories and testimonies of how Brilliance Emerged had changed people's lives and impacted them. On top of Brilliance Emerge, on top of working a full-time job, briefly, can you tell me how did you decide to add pursuing your doctorate?
I don't think it was an ad. All these things the Lord was doing all at once.
Simultaneously.
So in 2024, I got a call May, June from Jakes Divinity. They've been calling me for 2 years. I've been telling them no.
They called me too.
Yeah,
I never answered.
Yeah, I answered. I'd have conversations. And this last time I was like, let me just tell these people no. Like, this is a hard no. And the Lord was like, yeah, you're not going to do that. And I'm on the phone with the recruiter who's also in my cohort. And I start crying because the Holy Spirit has come over me. And he was like, you're about to do this. And I was like, what? I don't know how I'm going to do this. And in the midst of that call, she says, I think I'm supposed to go too. So we're cohorts. But the Lord opened this door where we are actually Bishop's first cohort for global leadership, because he believes for the church that there are going to be doctors needed to move the church forward from a global leadership perspective. And so when you look at my work history, I've been global in my job for over 10 plus years. So I've already been moving in that space from a natural perspective. Here comes God and says, oh, now I need you to move from a spiritual perspective. Yeah. Why me? I don't know. But I can see what the Lord is doing. And here I am, 2 years done with doctoral work, and I got an A on my last one. So I have a 4.0.
Come on.
And this was probably not my hardest semester in coursework, but my hardest semester of having to go through and get things done and have so many moving pieces that I did.
All at the same time.
All at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because some people take sabbaticals from work.
Listen.
To do a doctorate.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus hasn't given me that ability yet. I'm at the job. And I'm on the calls early in the morning.
So briefly, like, what benefit do you see coming from the fact that you said yes again to God to pursue a doctorate?
I know. And
from your vantage point right now, what's coming from this?
I'm going to tell you, in the first semester, I was like, why am I here? God, what am I doing here? And even I had to go down to Dallas that first semester because we had a conference we had to attend. And we were on our way to church at the Potter's house. And I'm crying like, what is going on? But I'm seeing it more. There's something the Lord wants me to bring forward for the future to help our pastors, to help leadership, that I'm developing in my doctoral project. And it is going to help sustain the church as those who receive it, but also it will be able to catapult us in a better and efficient way from a leadership perspective. And so when I look at what the Lord has put in me, he took something that was frustrating me and I was passionate about and said, oh, you're about to create something that the church needs. And even this last time when I was traveling for my doctoral advance, one of my professors sat next to me. He's a bishop, but he's rigorous as a professor. And he said, you need to create a human resources for the church. I said, sir, I don't have capacity. But I know that God is moving in a way that this doctoral is not just about being a doctor for the church, but we come in to heal and problem solve and bring the church further. And what Bishop knew is that he needed global-minded people who wouldn't think just about North America, but how could you reach into Africa? How could you reach into other countries and be global as you're producing something that will impact everyone?
Everyone, yeah. Because everybody needs it.
Yeah,
The church is not a North American church.
that's right.
God is not a North American God.
He is not.
No matter how much we think he is, he is God.
That's true.
Period. I love that. I love that God is a strategic God.
Oh, is he not?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I think if as you look back through what you've shared with us, you can see God's strategy.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we think that things happen either by happenstance or that it was a fluke, perhaps a mistake. And that even if there are instances in our lives where there were mistakes, where there were hard seasons, trying seasons in life, even traumatic events that take place, you can see God's hand and his strategy that says, I can take it all and make it work for the good. And so that's really comforting. And I feel comforted by that. And I hope you do too, that as you hear Faith's story, that no matter what you're carrying, no matter what you've experienced, no matter what you're living through currently, that God can use it all for what he's doing in and through you and in your community, in your family, for people who will be greatly impacted in the best of ways because you have held true to what he's called you to. And because we're here for a good time, not a long time, do me a favor. I want to bring it home for somebody who's watching, maybe even in this room right now, in our studio audience. There could be somebody who knows that God is telling them to move, but they don't have the full picture yet. So they're like, how I used to operate. What do you say to that person who's like, I know there's something I'm supposed to do. I know there's something more, but I don't have the full picture. What would you say to that person?
I would say that person, there's a reason sometimes that God doesn't give you the full picture. Because sometimes if you already know what the end is, you probably will try to stop before it begins. And so if you take the moment and if you trust God the way you say you do, then you'll partner with him and let him lead you. I didn't lead God, he led me. And even in the moments, I don't want it to seem like this is a pretty story. My brother knows there were tears cried behind the scenes. There were rough times. He knows the X amount of dollars I have spent. But what I've also seen is God bring it back again.
Yes.
But I've also seen God answer prayer like never before. And the greatest thing I've also seen is my yes turned into people now not only having new jobs, but people are starting companies that will help other people.
Yeah, they are.
And people are doing things that are so new to them they never thought they could do.
Their brilliance is emerging.
Their brilliance is emerging. And so in that, I would tell anybody, it's never easy to follow God. But if you trust him, even when you don't want to, and there are times I was like, God, why in Jesus' name am I doing this? He still said, I have a plan. I have a purpose. You're going to fulfill the purpose, and you're going to get it going. And my brother knows this. I had a moment of time where I just sat after losing my mother, having become the legal guardian of my grandmother, having to become the power of attorney of my father. I just was at a place of, God, I can't do anymore but do this caretaking that I got to do. But I recognize when the Spirit of the Lord says, no, I have a call for you to answer. There are people waiting for your yes. He never stopped coming for me. He sent people along the way. I just saw one of the women at a bridal shower 2 weeks ago. And I had to thank her for praying over me and saying, woman of God, come forth. Because on the other end, we're going to see great victories that we don't even know of. And what I always tell people, and we were raised by a pastor who would say this, when I get to heaven and I have to answer to the Lord, did you do all that I called you to do? I want to be able to tell the Lord I did it all, that I answered the call, no matter what it cost me. This cost you everything. But I can say to the Lord, I said yes. And I can say to him, it cost me everything. But I answered to what you told me to do. And when I go to be with him, I will rest easy. That everything that people had put in me, it came forward. But more than anything, I want to say, yes, God, I did it all. I put my hand behind the people's back, whether they want to curse me out or not. Because I want to say I did what you called me to do.
All right. Love that. Can I ask you what's next for Faith Brandon? What's next for Brilliance Emerge?
Number one, I'm going on vacation. Number two, I will be working on my doctoral project all through the summer because it's due December 12th. Next year, February, March, I'm defending that project, and I'm walking in May of 2027. I'm still working as a corporate executive, doing all the things I do and caring for the people and loving them. So I'm doing that. We have a whole family. Even though Lawrence and I don't have kids, we have a whole family that we caretake and love. We're moving one back from Houston.
You caretake very well. Yes,
I do.
you do.
She's
yes,
moving back from Houston, and so we're gonna get her through this period of transition. And I'm just gonna focus, which is what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I focus.
That's how you move forward.
Yeah.
You got to be focused. Well, Faith, thank you for joining us for TGP Live before you take your respite on an island somewhere, eating good food, laying in the bed. So glad that you've shared your journey with us. I'm excited to see what's to come. Often people say this is just the beginning. I don't believe in that. I think it dismisses the everything that's happened before. And if we're honest, we're not spring chickens. So
it's a milestone birthday for me next year.
It is. So I will say I'm excited for what's to come. Because so much has already been accomplished. I can't wait to see even the more that God will do in and through you, and the lives that will be greatly impacted because of your continued yes to God. Can we celebrate Faith? Thank you for being a part. So excited. For those of you joining us online, thank you for being here. I want to take an opportunity just to not summarize what she said. I don't have to summarize what she said. You got the good golden nuggets from it. But as we've been talking about pivoting and transitions, and it's the thing that God keeps highlighting to me is that there are great transitions that are coming, not only in our country, not only in our world, but even greater than that, within us. There's a new thing that God desires to do in you. And I think we have to allow God to do the work, but also partner with him. So what's your responsibility in this transition that you're in? What is your responsibility in this new thing that God is calling you to do? I think for Faith, it was saying yes. It was saying yes to the doctoral program. It was saying yes to starting a new venture. It was saying yes to putting on an event. And that might not be what your yes is or what your yes looks like, but what do you need to do? What phone call do you need to make? What research do you need to do in order to make sure that you are transitioning into the new thing that God wants to do through you? And could it be that what God does in you next could not only change and transform your life radically, but it could change the lives around you? And so I leave you with that. But also, before I leave you, I want to give you an opportunity to give. Here at the Gathering Place, we make space for everyone everywhere to gather, grow, and go. And this is possible because of people who are generous just like you. And so thank you for making it possible for us to reach people who are not here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, because I know people don't even know what the Twin Cities are. Minneapolis is St. Paul and Minneapolis. The Twin Cities are St. Paul and Minneapolis, my God. And it's separated by the Mississippi River, but they're right next to each other. That's what the Twin Cities are. There's people who are watching in other cities, other states, other countries, and you're being impacted by this, and that's possible because of people like you who are generous. So please do me a favor. Sow seed into good ground. We've got some amazing things that we endeavor to do here at the Gathering Place, and you help us to make that possible. So thank you for giving via online or also via Cash App or Venmo. All the ways your gifts help us to reach people. Your gifts help us with Brilliance Emerge. Your gifts help us with Collide. Your gifts help us with the Gathering Place. It is my heart's desire to meet what my mentor says, felt needs. And so what are the felt needs that are here in our city? Gas tanks being filled. Like, people got to make it to work so that they can get a check, so that they can feed their kids. My mission this summer is to put some gas in people's tanks who need it. My mission this summer is to put some food on people's tables where they can't afford it. And so all of what you give helps us to make that possible. And so thank you for your generosity. Coming up, today is Sunday. Tomorrow is Monday. I invite you right back here. If you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook, right back here tomorrow morning, we have Petition, which is our prayer gathering that we have 6:30 a.m. and we end around 7. And we just take about 30 minutes to literally pray over our week. And I believe that it is impacting people. I keep hearing stories from people I do not know of how they are being impacted by our prayer times every Monday morning at 6:30. Please know that we will not be having petition prayer next Monday because that is a holiday and we believe in resting. But I can't wait to see you tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. right here online for petition. Until then, God bless you. Have the most amazing week, and we'll see you next time.